am a white guy raised by a black family. Adopted when I was 8. Hands down, the greatest thing about being a white guy in a black family is nobody asks you to cook shit. Everything I make's the devil.
If everything you assume about someone's background turn out to be completely different, that's the conversation taking over social media right now. People who say they are white and were raised in black home or by black family are sharing their personal stories online. And those stories have sparked thousands of reactions. Some talk about the follow the lane, the tradition they grew up with, and how those experiences shape the way they see the world today. What makes this story go viral isn't that everyone agree, it's that they encourage people to think beyond stereotype. Every family is different, every upbringing is different, and every person experiences is unique. In today's video, we are going to hear differently from people sharing their own experiences along with reaction from viewers across the internet. Listen carefully, keep an open mind, and think about what stand out to you the most. Trust me, some of the perspective you are about to hear may surprise you. Let's go watch. Before we jump into the next part, I want to give a huge thank you and full credit to every creators whose clip appear in today's episode. All of this video you are about to watch belongs to their original creators and are being featured here for commentary, criticism, education, and transformative reaction purpose. I truly appreciate everyone who have shared their personal experiences and opinions because they are what make this discussion possible. Now I want to watch every clip. I want you to watch every clip carefully. Don't just watch, listen to one perspective. Pay attention to what each person says because every story adds another piece to the bigger picture. You might hear something that change your perspective or help you understand someone else's experiences a little bit. Stay with me until the end because after we have watched all the reaction, we are going to come back together and share our thoughts, point out what stood out the most, and I can't wait to hear your opinion in the comment section. Without wasting much, guys, let's go ahead and watch together.
So I'm the biracial daughter of a black woman who hated being black, and because of that, she hated me for being white. My mother has said a lot of disparaging things to me about my, my body, my build, being more lighter, being given the wrong baby, things like that, just kind of my entire life. But, she didn't always say negative things, and sometimes that made our relationship confusing. She would tell me that I was beautiful, that she's glad that she made a mixed baby, that, it made me really unique. She would also, stop and tell me, about being accepting, understanding that, different people look different. There's not one way anybody is supposed to come out looking, and not to judge people based off of their appearances because you really don't know what people's stories are. But then turn around and be like, oh my gosh, you're so much lighter than me. Like, nobody ever thinks that you're mine. Like, if you came out looking a little bit more like me, we wouldn't have so many issues. Or like she would refer back to me when she was upset about things and be like, oh my gosh, like you just remind me of your father. Like you look so much like him. Like sometimes I can't stand to look at you. Anyway, there was a lot of cognitive dissonance when it came to my mother. I never really knew what it is that she wanted me to represent. And it made the public ridicule that I was experiencing, especially as a child who was still developing, even more confusing and detrimental because I was having that kind of flip-floppy conversation at home. And then I was having the same flip-floppy conversation in public. So then it really left me in a place as a child of not having like a really strong self-identity because I wasn't able to be a part of any one community.
I'm a white child and I have a black mama.
I love her very much. They're like, why are you different colors from your mom?
Are both legally the children of Francis Mark. Congratulations. You want to be adopted by Miss Mark today?
Some of the people that we were with were not nice.
They hurt us in ways that we shouldn't touched and hurt, and it was really hard.
After their last return, they had been traumatized so much, I was like, that's it. That's it. They're going to be mine now.
You want me to help you?
We were never cared for in the right way. Cared for us and let us know that we were special to her.
Yes, they are all officially mine.
It was a white kid was sent to live with a black foster family. And he loved this family. Like that was his mama. And he called her mama, and he felt like he fit in, and he loved them, and they loved him. And then one time he came from school, and he saw his mama sitting at the table with his social worker, and she just had tears in her eyes because she was working towards adoption. Right. And the social worker looked at him and said, "Hey, I decided I'm gonna move you to a different family." And he said, "Why?" "Well, I just feel like as a white kid, you really should be with a white family. And I just don't feel like you really fit in here. So don't worry, I'm doing you this favor." Correct. And the kid was just like, "Why would you do that? Like, I'm in a loving home with a woman who wants me to become her son."
Yes.
And like, what kind of messed up mentality of, "Oh, well, I found some very distant relatives that I think that you might be happier with." Why?
I saw that you were raised by a black woman, is that correct?
Most of my homes and group homes were black. Like, I can't say, like, I know I'm white. At the end of the day, I'm white. You see my color? All that. But white people didn't like me. It was really weird. Like, most of the homes that accepted me was black. Mm-hmm. And I never understood why. I was just like, okay, cool. I never really cared. As long as I was somewhere where there's love. Love has no color. So that woman took me in, and I literally owe her my whole world. Like, I'm gonna give her everything. Like, she took me in when nobody else did, so.
I was the only white boy there. They made fun of me, I'm white boy. I'm young. I look like Opie. They had a lot of jokes to tell. So.
Were you a little guy, or were you a big dude at that time as well?
I was always decent size because my daddy had me working at a young age. Uh-huh. My pops, he taught me how to build houses and roof. So I was into that type of field, and so I'd always had a little size on me, shoulder-wise, but I was skinny.
Did it put you into the perspective of having to, like, defend yourself more aggressively because you were the only white kid, or one of the only white kids?
100% for shit, sure. Yeah, when you're a white boy at the school, they didn't want to accept you at that time, you know what I mean? Especially everything going on in the world at the time it was happening, And by me coming out of into a whole new world, like I had to make sure that, early on my daddy had me watching a lot of John Wayne flicks and mafia movies. Okay. So I kind of I don't know. I didn't want to work. I wanted to join a gang. Kind of weird to say, but I was kind of attracted to that lifestyle at an early age.
My friend group, I was the only white kid in the black community. I grew up not like my house wasn't in the black community, but my friendships were. And I learned really young what privilege was, not only racial privilege, but financial privilege without anyone telling me. I saw it clear as day. Like, at such a young age, having people take me in, even though I look different than them, and loving me. I mean, all of my mentors at a young age were black women. And so that set a tone in my life. And it's like, you have lifted me up and done so much for me. I will fight till the death for you. And that's just how I feel. And allyship is really important to me for every creed, every kind of person, every race, religion, sexual orientation. Yeah. It doesn't matter if I look like you. I think because I was othered as a kid, because I was the white kid, or really because I was the big kid. That was like my story as a child. I think when you're othered like that, it allows you to have empathy for people that are othered, no matter what they experience.
Which is why it honestly grinds my gears when somebody...
I'm officially done for the day, y'all. I walked in to go pick something up from school. The little girl like, "Why is your mom black and you're white?" I said, okay, it's time for me to take it on then.
Not white.
What are you?
I am tan-ish.
You're tan-ish? You're tan-ish?
You're my tannish color. Why do you think I'm white?
Oh, okay. People thought the girl said she was white. That's what she said.
Her name is Nomi.
I'm just done for the day, yo. I've had enough. Take my ass in the house, cook some dinner. I'll probably even do something here, like some braids or something, tie the little ponytails, tie little buns. You're fine. You're on that side and I'm on this side. Okay. Get do her hair, get something for dinner, and just relax for the rest of the night. Like, Lord knows I need it.
I was raised by racists, and I want to talk about how deep the racism is behind closed doors. It was so bad that I would literally get physically punished for listening to music by people of color. I was told that I needed to keep the bloodline pure, and if I was caught dating a person of color, that they would immediately disown me. I remember being as young as 4 years old and being asked why I wasn't friends with the white kids in my school and being told that those are the people that I need to befriend. Thankfully, I went no contact and I don't have to deal with their hateful beliefs anymore, but I want you to know that change is possible and you don't have to believe everything that you were taught growing up.
First of all, I just want to say, shout out to this woman. It takes a lot of courage for, a white woman to come online, speak out on their racist family, what they went through, what things they were saying, stuff like that. Because a lot of white people aren't like that. A lot of white people just rather don't care. They just rather just ignore it. They just, just refuse to not speak on it because they rather scared or they just really don't care. We need more white people like her. But y'all be calling us black people, we have victims mentality. But you got a white woman coming online saying she would get in trouble for listening to black people, music and dating a black person. She would get disowned for that. You know how racist you have to be to do that? The reason why some of you white people tell us why we have victim mentality because you don't like when you're a group of people being exposed on racism. We're going to continue to talk about it. We're never going to stop. A lot of white people teach their children racism. I have a bunch of white people telling me the same thing in person.
Guys said the word nigga in 2 of my videos yesterday just to see what would happen. And what happened on TikTok was exactly what I thought was going to happen. A bunch of people came after me for saying it. Now, the funny thing about that, though, is that not one of these people was black. They were all white. And the reason no black people came after me for saying it? 2 things. 1, most niggas can look at me and tell that I'm black by my facial features. A lot of people say that I am not white passing. Number 2, most niggas don't even fucking care about the usage of the N-word to begin with, as long as it's not used in a derogatory term. And also, in my daily life, everyone says that I'm not white passing, and I also experience a lot of racism in my life. So tell me why the fuck I would experience racism and get called the hard R if I'm white. Make that shit make sense. My mom fully black, I'm black. I don't care how much my skin tone reflects that. And I just realized that I can't get canceled for saying a word that I'm entitled to saying. So if I said the word nigga, then you heard me, nigga. Anyway, stay smooth, my nigga.
Okay, Jonathan, I would love for you to tell me the story that you told me earlier today, because what you said, your response was so eloquently said, and I have the world needs to hear this. Go ahead.
Okay, so one day.
Remember, you got 3 minutes, so.
Alright, so one day I was walking down the street with Davina, and then this man in his red truck, he literally said, "Yo, what you doing with that white boy?" And I said, "Excuse me, sir. Technically, if I live in a black family, I'm black. And also, you cannot judge someone by their color, because that's the way they look, and they don't want to change it. Neither can you. So, do not judge anyone.
Do not judge anyone. So what you want the world to know?
Do not judge anyone by their color.
That's right.
Or be, well, you know the word, to other people. Racist.
That's right.
And if you do, there will be bad consequences for you in life. And then you will feel bad for the people that you were mean to.
Okay. Well said. Very proud of you, young man.
Thank you.
When I was a baby, I was a white baby in the pram with a black mom. And when she used to take me to the park, a number of people would think she was the nanny and make comments like, "Go faster," or if she was reading a book, "You're not being paid to read." Pretty awful, right? And the reason why we're probably all in agreement, I hope we're all in agreement that this is pretty awful, is that the identity, the part of her identity where she was my mom and not my nanny, was not up for negotiation. This was a part of her story that she had the right to tell and no one else had the right to contradict. Many parts of our identities are like that. They are parts of stories that we tell about ourselves, and we're the only ones who can say what the story is. Other parts of our identities are not like that, however. Some parts of the stories that make up who we are are stories that have to be told by others. So, for example, I'm a university professor and I can't just self-proclaim this story about myself. There are institutions and structures and processes and hoops and everything, so that there are others who have to tell me that I have the right to describe myself in this way. One of the reasons why gender is such a flashpoint, is such a hot button issue right now, is that there is a disagreement, a deep disagreement going on about which kind of story gender is. Many people, and it's quite likely the person who made this comment as well, believe that gender is something that society tells. It's a story that society tells. Society tells us what gender is. They tell us who is what gender, and they tell us what is expected of people who are this or that gender. But of course, not everybody believes that story. One of the demands of trans persons is that we should recognize that gender identity, the way that you feel inside, should be like my mom is my mom and not my nanny, something that is not up for negotiation, that only the person themselves can tell about themselves, and not like the story of you're a university professor now, but this is not something you can tell about yourselves. We're going to tell you this about you. The people who are upset at trans individuals for daring to claim that the gender story is a personal story and not a societal one are usually the same people who are upset at feminists who are saying, look, you're telling us what roles go with which gender, but we don't want to accept that. So a part of this disagreement is about what kind of story is the gender story, or rather, what kind of stories are the gender stories? Who gets to tell them, and what effect should they have? Because although you can't enforce certain perceptions, we do have, to a certain degree, the right to be perceived a certain way. For example, we have the right to be perceived as having equal rights. Even though the news daily show us that you can't enforce this with everyone, we do still have this right. Recognizing this right that we all have to be considered as having equal rights took centuries. Changing the way in which we view each other is hard. So I do have to say I have sympathy for people who have a hard time looking past the usual story that our society tells about gender and questioning it, questioning the effect that these stories should have on our lives, questioning the notion that this is a collective story, not a deeply personal one. I do see that. We should all see that. What we should also see, however, is that when a trans person asks to be recognized for who they are and meets refusal, this refusal can only be taken to mean one thing, and this thing, this message is, you have no right to exist. Try to imagine the violence that is perceived when this is the message that you are getting from others. We should all see that as well. Yeah.
I can definitely tell a black woman raised you. You're close. I was raised by a black man. This is my stepdad, Peter. He met my mom when I was about 5 years old. They were together for about 10 years and they split in 2005. This is him as the best man at my wedding in 2010. And even to this day, even though him and my mom haven't been together for almost 20 years, to this day, I still call him Dad.
For example, you saying the N-word. How do you deal with that kind of criticism?
It's hard. I've been saying that shit forever, bro. Like, my mama, that's what everybody say. I mean, people address me as that ever since I was little. So, like, I was adopted at 7 days old. So I didn't grow up with a white mother. My mother was black pretty much from, like, birth. Like, if you raise a bear with humans.
My white mom told me that she used to literally pray and hope that the whole entire time she was pregnant with me, that I would not come out with an afro. Because if I was born with an afro, she wouldn't know what the fuck to do with my hair. She don't know how to do black people hair. And I will say, she 100% got what she wanted, because I definitely don't have an afro. Definitely don't have an afro. And whenever she would get extremely mad at me, she would tell me that I'm ugly, just like my father. I know that she doesn't think I'm ugly. I just don't like how every time I remind her of a black man is when I become ugly. So all I'm saying is that her mom don't say nothing like that to any of her kids. My uncle don't say nothing like that to any of his kids. And her sister ain't never said nothing like that to any of her kids. Saying, and mind you, both my mom's siblings, like, their relationships didn't work out with their, like, child's father. Well, and the child's mother. They were both married and had kids with white people. My mom's the only one that had a black child. And they never be telling them they ugly like they white parent. Why am I the only one that gets called ugly?
I'm the daughter of a black woman who hated being black, and because she hated being black, she hated me for being white. Now, my mother had this grandiose fear that she was not afraid to tell me. She told me all the time that I was going to wind up with a black man. And it was always so odd, because at the same time she'd be like, I just want you to wind up with somebody who treats you right. I don't really care what they look like or who they were, unless apparently it was a black man. And personally, I think that was her own fear. My mom has some internalized racism and issues that she refuses to deal with, and that was just something she heard growing up a lot from the family that adopted her. So I think she subconsciously was trying to give me sound advice to maybe like save me, or like save public perception, or like just, I don't know, just any, but in her mind she was basically like, you can date anyone in the world, but you just can't date a black man. And it didn't help that my dad also felt that way, but he's like more just covertly racist. My mom is just kind of like abused into being internalized, having racism internally. My dad is just kind of like actively deciding to be that way. But yeah, no, that was a real fear. And I heard about that a lot, especially as I entered my teenage years.